What? Huh? Hold on. Sorry, I couldn't hear you over all the compliments I've been getting about my movement watch. You've heard us talking about movement watches for years, literally, because they're great, they're affordable, and they're stylish, and they make even Kevin look good. But you know what else they do? They make holiday shopping easy. These watches make the perfect purchase for you or anyone else in your life, your girl, your guy, it doesn't matter. And remember, they start at only $95. Get yourself a movement watch, and then you can monitor all the time you're saving by not going to the mall and getting some lame gift for your dad. Movement watches start at just $95. At a department store, you're looking at $400 to $500. Movement figured out that by selling online, they were able to cut out the middleman and the retail markup, providing the best possible price. Get 15% off today. It was funny, right? When I did the yell thing. Get 15% off today with free shipping and free returns by going to movement.com/Greggy. Buy them now and skip the holiday hassle. That's MVM. I just yelled. There's no one complimenting me in the room. You know, go to mvmt.com/Greggy. Join the movement. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Game Over Greggy show. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer/seducer. Don't bring up his butt, Nick Scarpino.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, how
Don't
are
bring up his butt.
Yeah, you like that? Yeah.
You were gone for a while, and I didn't like it.
No, I'm back now, though. But
You did great work, though. I don't know if we did a podcast, so I forgot to say congratulations. The WWE thing was fucking awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, it was awesome.
Awesome. Great work.
Thank you so much. High five on that
Hey,
one. Huh?
man.
There it is. All right, that's what I like to see. Over there, the pure one at Tim Gettys.
Let Timos. I like how you almost blend in to the poster behind you.
Because I'm wearing the shirt back there.
He sang the X-Men theme as you meant Nightcrawler, right?
No, well, I mean, Nightcrawler doesn't make any sense either.
That's
I was
good point.
thinking more of a morph.
Well, he went like this.
A chameleon, where if I could go up and it was one of those, if I could make all my skin transparent, you know what I mean?
There has to have
I'd-
been an X-person
I'd
that's good
match
at
up
that.
perfectly. There's
Well, I
gotta be.
imagine that by the
There's a
time
mutant
this
that does that,
episode
right?
goes live, that shirt will be available.
Yeah, why not? Let's just say. What
kindly
could possibly go wrong?
And maybe this will be there.
I'm wearing a Kind of Funny Games daily shirt if you're watching it or listening at home and you don't know what's
The
happening.
day was
It's
like
a cool
October 27th,
From
right?
the date that we're recording, it should go live a week from Friday. So it should.
We're
It should
so
be up.
prepared
It
for
should be
holiday
up.
break with all the gogs we're in.
Yeah.
And making his debut. Have you ever been on the Game Over Greggy show?
No.
Ladies and gentlemen, world famous bartender, host of Follow the Leader, producer, maker, director, star of the one hit documentary Bartender at Large, Erick Castro.
Yay!
Yay!
I could have sworn you've been on this show before.
I thought no, I
you
was
have
supposed
to have
be
been on
on,
the
but
show.
it was like the dates. I was supposed to be on, but the dates didn't work
Okay.
out a couple times, and it's like I think it like fell through like a couple times.
Okay.
Yeah.
You're one of, like, Nick always brings up his friend Stu, and drops this in there all the time to where Stu is a character without actually having much of a presence on the shows, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? You're the same way.
Oh,
where
thanks,
I
brother.
drop
That
in all
means
the
a lot
time.
to
I'm
me.
hanging out with world famous bartender Erick Castro, and people
Oh,
like,
then
follow
we
the
hang out
leader.
a lot too.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
we're friends. That's part.
We also did Follow the Leader, which was our first ever show. That
Yeah.
was like when we were like, we're going to do something new.
Yeah, we're gonna do something new and polished.
Yeah.
We're gonna do this. It's gonna be
was
different and shake it up.
It looks real good.
It did. Yeah,
Still
yeah.
does look good.
Yeah, it still does.
Seminal
YouTube
work.
show out.
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah. I went back and I was watching the other day. So a lot of those have a lot of good views.
The production value on
Yeah,
it was really good
come
too.
on, that was off the charts. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great. It was amazing. Irish polar bears coming up. You want to get that soon?
for the
Yeah.
holidays,
Yeah,
man?
you know what's
Oh,
up.
man.
We have so much to talk to you about the holidays,
Yeah.
about polite revisions, about being a bartender, about the movie, all these different things. But first, you brought a drink for us.
Yes.
What are you making today?
I'm parched. I'm thirsty.
Yeah.
So since I saw you guys had Negronis a couple weeks back,
It's a blackout drink with Max Landis. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I don't remember it.
We made them very strong. We made gin ones off your recipe.
Yeah.
And Max, it was his favorite drink, and I gave it to him, and he's like, "This is very strong." And then he kept drinking them as we transitioned over to old fashions. I'd like to. So, what are you making?
so we're gonna have like a riff on that.
Okay.
Called the Boulevardier, but it's kind of like a bourbon Negroni.
Okay.
So we're gonna make those a little Woodford Reserve, some Campari, and a sweet vermouth.
All right. What do you need from us? I brought all these are the accoutrements from
Yeah,
home.
you could do it equal parts if you want.
You do
But
whatever
I'm
you
gonna it's been one of those weeks,
Yeah. Oh,
So I'm gonna kick up the bourbon a little bit.
Yeah, okay.
Kick it up, man.
Kick
Kick
As
it up.
Emerald
Gotta
would say,
kick it up.
bam. You know what I mean?
Bam.
Yeah. So we got the nice glasses over here for on camera, and then these are for these schlubs over here. Your
Can I
Joey
tell you, now, here's
Noels,
the
your
thing.
Andys,
I always feel
your Cool
bad
Gregs.
because I know that when he makes this cocktail, it's going to be the best in the world.
Yeah.
I don't drink that much anymore.
Yeah.
Can I take a little
You
baby
have sip
sip of
mine.
yours?
Little
Is that
sipsies.
okay?
I'll make you a wheat dram.
A wee dram.
I don't know what that means. I'm scared of it.
I think it's
take
gonna be a little small drink for you.
Okay, yeah, that'd be nice.
A little drink for little Nick.
Yeah.
I didn't mean that
Well,
mean.
you said little Nick, right?
Yeah,
I did.
a little drink for little Nick.
Although
is what
I
he
said
said.
I don't drink that much anymore, but I have actually, in fact, been drinking a lot.
You've been
You and I
drinking a
got
lot.
a little bit bombed on Sunday.
No, dude, I've been on a bad tear. I need to stop.
No, you don't.
I'm gonna give up drinking
Nah, you're
after.
fine.
That sounds
this.
that's crazy.
After
After
this.
this.
Yeah.
Okay,
Sober
wait,
Temper
After
Fest.
this.
After
It's
this.
it's always
It's
after
always
this.
after this.
Well, yeah, I feel like I've been on a tear recently as well, but it's just
It's
because.
been a bad week in terms of drinking. For me.
Yeah.
It just
Lay it
keeps
on me. What?
happening.
Okay.
It's been having a
just
blast.
when
We had
I-
a blast.
Yeah,
Let's
when
hear
I
about
was with Nick, it was like too much of a blast.
So good.
Like I still
Did
feel
you-
hungover from it.
You heard the
It was
story on Sunday, right? Were
Yeah,
you,
yeah,
You
yeah.
were here.
Well, I wasn't here, but I heard the story.
You got the story, yeah. So Tim met me over. For anyone that doesn't remember this, Tim met me over at one of my open mics. He and Gia surprised me, and I was like, "Oh, this is super fun." And then we got to talking, and of course, I've made a few friends now in the open mic world, and so they like to drink, and I like to be hospitable,
Yeah.
and have a
Oh,
couple
you're just doing it
cocktails
for
here and
them.
there. Man, it was fun. We had a good
Nick
night.
got so drunk he forgot his card there.
Sure did. I pulled it.
Wait,
I'm
you were
22.
drunk on Sunday too?
I got a little drunk on
I
Sunday,
thought
yeah.
just you were drunk.
I got a little
You
drunk.
made it sound like
Just a
Gia was
little
there, like, oh, I
was
got this
definitely
drunk
hungover
Tim.
on
I got to
Monday.
worry
no,
about
she
him.
was drunk. Everyone was drunk.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my lord.
I was at Milk Bar till
disaster.
2:00 in the morning on a Sunday. It was
Yeah.
me,
That's San
3 other
Francisco.
people, one dude doing stand up, and then there was like a pug somewhere. I'm pretty sure. Did you see the pug?
There was, yeah. The pug just was chilling.
There's just a pug. They put a
Yeah,
pug on a
oh.
stool, and you're like, cool. And then the
I
next
was
day, the pug was
so-
there again. I went to get my card,
yeah.
and the pug was there, and he like remembered me. He's like, hey. And I was like,
Hey, what's up, dude?
I
You
got
were here
a
last
little
night.
scratch on his belly.
Yeah.
Pugs have very soft bellies. I just wanted everyone to know that.
Sure.
I was so drunk, and I was one of the only 3 people sitting in the audience
You
for the
were. You got
stand-up.
picked on.
And these guys
So
just
sorry.
every single comedian that went up was just making fun of me so much, and I couldn't.
'Cause you were
even-
so drunk?
just because I was sitting there, and I was so obviously just like, I was very drunk, and this one dude was making some joke about black people. Like, he was black as well. And he pointed at someone next to me and like made a reference to them, pointed at someone else.
You're
and-
not black.
And then he pointed at me and he just goes, "We all know it's not you. You're white as fuck." And I was
You
sitting
are white
there,
as fuck.
and I was like, "Fuck!" I didn't even hear what he just said. But I'm
Right.
just gonna go, "Yeah."
Like
I
you
mean-
mentioned earlier about never being in the front row at a yoga studio.
don't.
Dude,
Yeah.
never
Never
sit in the front.
Dude,
of a
I was
comedy
in
club.
the back. It's just, I was the only one.
So here's one of the here's
It
an
was
important.
2 a.m. at a freaking shitty open mic.
Oh yeah, no.
Like,
Tim was
these were
literally
dire,
in the
man.
second to last row of chairs that were set up, but there was no one there, so he was de facto front row.
Oh shit.
Yeah, we
so
got.
bad.
By the way, so when we were in there, I learned a very important safety tip. Now I've been hanging out at the Punchline a lot, and we got my boy Alan there.
Alan, what up?
Shout out to Alan at the Punchline.
David Alan Greer,
He's a
right?
comedian as well. Definitely not David Alan Greer. Could not be farther from that man.
Okay.
David Alan Greer. No, I'm just joking. They're both
down
nice.
with
I don't know. I
David
don't know where I was going with that.
I saw him at Union
David Alan
Square
Greer, cool
one
guy.
time. What are
I don't
you
know.
talk shit about?
I
David
know,
Allen Greer?
but what I noticed is that they purposely stack the front row when people are being sat with interesting looking humans. Sometimes good looking, sometimes older. Like they'll make it diverse enough so the comics can, if they want to go to the crowd, go to the audience, so to speak, they'll have something to fuck with. So never sit. There are 3 places that you should never be in the front row: yoga, comedy clubs, and strip clubs. Just stay away from that. Oh, thank you, sir. Stay away from the
clubs
front.
don't be in the front row?
Don't do that. It's just, you're just a waste.
What's
of
the point
money.
of going to a strip club then?
It's a waste of money. To hang out with your friends and smoke cigars and go, ha ha ha.
Hey.
Oh my God.
We did do
you
that at
very
Kevin's
much.
bachelor
We
party.
did.
Thank you.
fellas.
Thank you. Cheers.
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 Cheers, fellas.
It's good to see you, buddy. Missed you.
That's good to be back.
Cheersies.
Speaking of strip clubs in the front row.
So
that's
much
good.
better than mine,
Yeah,
which
my
was
God.
like paint thinner.
I didn't even have yours, but I can tell this is better. That's lovely.
There is a strip club in Portland.
Is
Called,
it a vegan strip club?
It's called Acropolis. Yeah, no. It's the only
I've been-
farm-to-table strip club in America.
Really?
What the fuck?
Sorry.
So that's the most Portland thing you've ever heard. So you go to the strip club, and the owner of the strip club also owns like a cattle ranch.
Okay.
So you can get all this like top prime grade beef.
That's great,
And
actually.
it's at a strip club, so it's like super cheap. You can get like a really dope steak for like $18 or something.
I went to a bachelor party in Portland, and we went to there's apparently a vegan strip club. Where
oh yeah, it's
I forget what it's called, but it looks.
Mary's.
Is that what it's called?
yeah.
It looks
I mean,
like it's,
I've heard.
Yeah.
I've heard it's.
I read this. I read it on Eater.
I went, and it was like basically it looks like an old motel that had been renovated and like turned into. It was a very weird setting, but what strip club isn't a weird setting?
Yeah.
It's not like any strip club you go to is like this is like
This
the
is
natural,
comfortable.
like this is nature, right? No, it's all this made up weird fucking surrealistic world that you enter into. But the fact that it was vegan, I felt like everyone was like, we gotta see what this is like.
Yeah.
It just turns out they don't serve anything that's not vegan. I don't think there's nothing special to it.
I mean, that's
There's
what I
a
would
lot of
guess.
jokes.
That's what I would
I
guess.
didn't know. I didn't know. I thought maybe all the girls would be like, you walk in with a hamburger, they smack you in the
yeah.
face.
There is something
Shit like
super
that.
weird though about eating at a strip club.
Oh yeah,
I don't need to
Because
do
you're
that.
not
Why,
sold on the
why is that
cleanliness.
such a thing, though? I think, honestly,
bang for your buck.
my theory is that people need a layer of excuse to give themselves
Yeah.
to make it okay.
I'm just going for dinner.
Oh,
Oh, yeah,
went for
like,
the
oh
Austin
no, their
steaks.
chicken wings are great. And
people go for lunch.
because we were even talking about Hooters yesterday,
yeah.
where it's like people that are like, oh no, but the fried pickles are amazing, or the wings are great. It's like, just stop lying to yourself. Like you want to go there to see
Some
women
boobs.
in scantily
Yeah.
clad outfits.
wanna
Like
see boobs.
that's totally
Like if somebody
okay.
ordered like Hooters to go, it would be the dumbest thing ever.
If you
What the fuck's wrong with you?
Uber Eats, Hooters.
Even like the dude who you put the order in with, you're like, why are
You'd be
you
like,
I
doing
mean,
that?
I'm not lying though. I would do that because I love the fucking fried pickle chips there.
Their wings
Although
are
shout
pretty
out to the
legit.
fried pickle chips at Buffalo Wild Wings. I remember them being a lot worse than they were yesterday. They were pretty fucking good.
Did you live
Pretty
the
good.
dream yesterday and do it, where you went to Wild Wings for lunch and Hooters for dinner?
So I did, but it hit a point where like I just smelled the wings and I was like, I just didn't eat dinner last night.
Oh,
I
yeah.
couldn't. It like something in me was just like,
Sure.
this is too much fucking wings, dude. Yeah, Hooters though, what an experience.
That's one day, brother, when you pass on your gravestone, it's just gonna say, too much fucking wings, dude.
Here, Les Greg Miller,
Totally worth
made of
it.
chicken wings.
If you didn't know, ladies and gentlemen, this is the Game Over Greggy show each and every week. 4, sometimes 5 best friends gather on this table. Each bring a random topic discussion for your amusement. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, where you can toss us a couple of bucks and get each and every episode early. How early, Tim?
You can watch that shit right now.
Fuck
Thank
you,
you,
Tim. Yeah.
I'm deer in the headlights that
It's
one.
okay. He did
Give
it
us a
3
dollar.
times before I figured out what
Give
he
us a
wanted to
dollar.
say.
You can watch it as we record it live, like so many people are on patreon.com/kindafunny right now. Thank you.
By the way, shout out to the live experience.
Sure.
Because we spend a lot of time before, a lot of time after. We look at the comments. It's a fun thing. You should think about doing it if you haven't. It's definitely worthwhile.
Yeah.
Sometimes Tim takes his pants off.
It's never happened. Usually Tim gets up and takes a business call because we're 20 minutes late.
that is the thing that happened. I apologize for
If you got no bucks to toss our way, no big deal. Head over to youtube.com/kindafunny, where we post the show topic by topic, day by day, until it goes up as one big video and MP3. Tim, what are you doing with your socks?
I got flamingo socks.
Oh, I like those.
Let's see. Hold on. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
pretty
this-
fucking cool.
I switched over to the speckled
Here we
sock.
go.
I just want you to know that.
Oh,
There's
wow.
my sock right there.
That is a ballsy move.
I know. I don't do any of the graphic socks anymore. I've just gone completely
How come?
speckled. I just like the speckle socks.
So
I wear crew cut Hanes. No, I actually wear Pumas, but I have a thing of Hanes because I went on a trip and realized I packed no socks. I had to
so you
go
gotta
buy
pick 'em
some
up?
socks. Yeah.
That's the worst.
my problem with the kooky designed ones is that the stitching gets all fucked up.
Yeah.
And then the inside, there's a lot of just loose strings and shit, and getting your foot in eventually becomes an issue if you wash them a lot.
Don't like it.
which
These
you
don't
should
have that
with
problem.
Socks.
These are $2 a pair, man. Bought them at Uniqlo. They sell like
I'm an
50
H&M
different
guy
versions.
when it comes to the socks. These are from
Probably the
Express.
same
though.
Tim, what's your fucking topic? It's not socks.
My topic is socks. No, my topic. I want to talk about. I want to talk about bartending. You are a world famous bartender, which is kind of a weird thing to imagine being the young lad that I used to be when I first heard about you. I was like, what the fuck does that even mean? Now, all these years later, having been to Polite Provisions, having seen what you have done right in front of me, and also on Follow the Leader and a bunch of other stuff, it's like, oh wow, there's this whole culture here that you
And it's only getting
really
bigger.
welcomed me into.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Well, it's crazy because when I first started bartending about 15 years ago, there really weren't that many opportunities for a bartender. You kind of, you either went to own your own place or you like work for, one of the distributors like Southern or Young's or something. And now it's like we're at the point where it's like I know bartenders who like own their own spirits companies, they're putting on their own products. They're traveling around the world, they're on TV, they're paid consultants, and it's crazy. It's like when I first got into this, there weren't all these opportunities yet, so I was kind of with it as it was evolving. It was kind of like the old Wild West for a while, and now it's like things are falling into place, and there's all these crazy opportunities. Like
How did you get involved then? Like, what were you like? It starts 15 years ago. What exactly happened? You were an accountant. You were a
No,
priest.
I was going to San Diego
while.
State, and I was kind of just like, I'm just, I'm a bartender my way through college. Meet some ladies, drink some free tequila. Like, I can't lose, right? It's
the dream.
Better
The dream.
hours because you get to sleep in.
San Diego
And-
State, man.
Right?
Oh, all right.
San Diego.
And it's just one of those
State.
things. Is like I kept thinking like, once I graduate, I'm gonna get a real job. And I studied journalism and poli-sci stuff, and just next thing you know, it's just like more and more opportunities have started coming out, and like.
Did you love it back then, or were you like,
I
this is
loved
just
it,
a job?
man.
Okay.
I like took to it like a fish to water,
Did you?
man. I loved it.
I mean, because I worked in the service industry for a very long time, and I never expressly liked the hours. I didn't like the actual like. There's a certain kind of party lifestyle that goes along with
Yes.
it that I didn't really gel with. But I think that there are some people that really, really did, and there's a lot of people that find their passion in that, like sort of like I love sleeping in till 2:00 in the afternoon, and then my day doesn't really start till like 5 when I get to work,
should
and then
be
you
a
party
bartender.
all day.
Dude.
Oh, you would have loved it.
When I was bartending in New York, bars close at 4, so when you're there super late, like I was setting my alarm clock, like, gotta be up by 1 p.m. tomorrow at the latest.
It's just
That is fantastic.
But I mean,
It's
it's
awesome.
crazy to me. And obviously, like we're in San Francisco, where the craft cocktail and the restaurant industry is flourishing right now.
Yeah.
And so I have friends that own bars, and it's crazy to me too, because I think my perspective on the issue has shifted as I started my own business, and as we all put in like crazy hours to this because we fucking love it,
Yeah.
and it just becomes your life after a while, and your identity is tied up into that. I'm looking at my friends who own bars, or and are bartending at the bars that they're like co-owners of in a totally different light.
Yeah, it's
than I
crazy.
used to.
It's just evolved so much.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. When it starts for you, do you start immediately into craft cocktails and this, or is it just
No,
rum
I
and
used to
coke
work
and
at,
here's a beer and?
Yeah, I used to work at chain restaurants.
Oh, okay.
Did you ever work at a
I used to
TJ
work
at Fridays?
BJ's, brother.
You were at BJ's?
I was at BJ's,
Yeah,
yeah.
boy.
Give me that
Bazooka
Jeremiah
Bazooka.
Red. Give me a pint of Jeremiah
Man, I
Red.
drank so much Jeremiah Red in my time. And so I was into that, and then it's like I moved up to Northern California, and then I was in Sacramento, so close to San Francisco that I was actually starting to hear about craft cocktails, and at that time I was like, wait, you can make like a lemon drop with real lemons? No way. And then I tried it and was like, oh, cool. So then I started reading old like classic cocktail books and kind of just fell into it. And at that point, like people used to make fun of us for it. People were like,
How many
like
years
the
back is
servers
this?
And this is probably about 15,
Okay.
12 years ago.
Okay,
Maybe I've
okay.
been working a little bit longer than that. But I said, people make fun of you, restaurant managers be like, oh, what, people are supposed to squeeze lemons? Like, you think people are really going to pay for that? Get out of here. And then now here it is, flash forward, and it's like, not doing too shabby.
Do you think that there's been sort of, I don't want to say a renaissance, but like a lot more care paid toward the quality of things now, and that's why? Like, in other words, are people, in your experience, going like, I really do actually care what goes into the things that I'm consuming or that I'm buying or that I'm purchasing, and I want those to be quality ingredients?
Yeah, and I think it goes across the board, man. I don't think it's just like with cocktails. I think it's like, historically, like think about beer, right? In the course of American history, we've always drank local beer. Mm-hmm. And then, we've always, had craft cocktails. It's really, I think, only been these last like 30 years that we kind of started shifting towards like kind of garbage stuff to drink. Mm-hmm. And now I think it's just America just returning back to the way it's always been.
Interesting. Because I see that a lot. Obviously, we're in a small bubble in San Francisco where like everything is very progressive and everyone's always trying something new. And, I think what I've seen a lot lately is obviously the farm to table is a huge thing up here. Yeah. You're getting people who are really looking for clean ingredients and actually giving a shit. Like there's sort of a passion and an art form in looking at the, like craft cocktails, for instance, or from my perspective, food, and being like, how can we make something that's delicious but also not full of preservatives, not processed, not any of these things? And I think there's a real movement toward that I find fascinating.
Yeah, and I think it's just like this whole last generation, like millennials and the tail end of like the last generation, like their way to rebel against their parents was to make quality products.
I mean, that's
Think about that, right?
every generation is just kind of a reaction to the one that came prior,
Yeah.
right? And like every like the millennials, I think I don't know, you're a millennial, right? But we're on the cusp, right?
lost
Yeah, I
I
don't
forget
know.
what it
It's
is.
weird. Every
But
time
like,
I make fun of a millennial, they say I'm a millennial. So I think it's a giant swath. Maybe
I think
even
you might be. I think you might be.
Yeah.
you might be. I think I'm on the cusp. I think I'm.
There's an M.
Yeah, the chip.
He's got a chip. It makes him constantly take pictures of himself on Instagram.
So just going from you being in a chain restaurant and like trying to put actual lemons and shit in there.
Yeah.
Like that's funny because that's not how things are nowadays.
No.
You go to
Yeah, they are.
BJ's.
Chain restaurants
Yeah.
still suck at
I mean,
making
actually,
drinks.
like
That's
I
what I'm
have
saying.
Oh, my apologies. My
But
apologies.
they're not
Yeah.
doing what he was trying to do.
Well, were
There
you
are
doing
people
that at
making
BJ's?
Move.
Okay.
Like me and my friend of mine, we own a consulting company, And a lot of the work we've been doing this last year is all for the national chain restaurants.
Yeah, just
so
trying
like
to-
we're getting left behind, like we're losing millennials.
Well, sure.
like,
I mean, that
out.
makes sense, right? Because I feel like once you know, I always feel like it's this weird, you coming into our lives, right, is this weird crossover of a bunch of different things.
Yeah.
But I remember you being a fan, like you liked me and Colin and Beyond and all that stuff
Dude,
at
I came
IGN.
to some of the recordings up at noon, man.
Yeah.
Hey, by the
yeah.
way, I think you guys still owe me a Spider-Man game.
Yeah, fuck you. But I remember you talking about exactly when we had Tim in the Spider-Man costume and stuff.
yeah.
I don't care.
But that's more on Activision than us, and they're not going to give you
Come on,
shit.
Activision.
But it was that
do the right thing.
you popped up and you were talking about it, and you started talking to us all on Twitter and hanging out with us. And I remember you sent the whiskey care package that had like the shaker and all the stuff and all these different whiskeys to me when I was sick with cancer.
Yeah.
And I remember I was like, I couldn't drink, so I put it all there on the table, and then it was literally months later where I had started watching Mad Men, and it was that thing of like, damn, them drinking all this bourbon shit looks
so
good.
elegant, right?
It looks cool. Like I'd like that. And I remember hitting you up and like, hey, what's the recipe for an old fashioned? And you sent it all to me, and I was like, where can I get that stuff? And then as I was typing that, I turned around and it was all on that table. And I remember taking it home and starting to do all those things. And it was like, it was your influence. It was you coming on the scene. It was also Mad Men becoming such a big part of it, right? Like
I honestly think that that Mad Men came out at just as like
Oh,
the
yeah.
cocktail movement was gaining steam.
That has to have
So
added
it's
to
just it was just
Has to
like
have.
I mean you're already taking like this fast horse and they put steroids in it. It's just like it helped the movement grow.
Well,
Yeah.
what I
much
loved about
faster.
that was that like obviously the idea of the cocktail, right, is it spreads so many different generations, right?
Yeah.
There's a history behind it, and it ties us to like all those people from all those bygone eras,
Yeah.
and you see them drinking in Mad Men, and you know, I said this a lot with the cigarettes too, where I'm like, I quit smoking cigarettes a long time ago, but you see them smoking, you're like, man, it
looks
just
cool.
fucking looks cool. Like the idea of like, hey, it's 4:00 in the afternoon, we're still at the office. Come over to my desk. Let's have a cocktail. I'm like, that is fucking cool, man.
So, but over the time though, there are the classic cocktails. Has the world lost any? Like, are there some cocktails that are just people don't fuck
There's
with
a few.
anymore?
You go through these old cocktail books from like I mean sometimes I feel like when I'm going through all these old cocktail books, I'm in a way you're kind of like an Indiana Jones of alcohol, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going through all these old books and you're finding like really cool recipes and you're kind of updating them for the modern palate. And some of these you see in there, you're like, okay, this drink was forgotten for a reason.
Yeah.
Gross.
Tastes like fucking motor oil.
I tried 1,000 ways of making it. There's no way of saving this.
What are the classic drinks though that if you consider yourself a bartender, you have to know? Is that list too long or?
No, I mean, there's, I'd say, a solid like 15 you got to know. But I mean, you got to know like a Collins Manhattan Old Fashioned, Negroni, Margarita, Sidecar, and then a few more too.
Sex on the
like-
beach.
What's
Yeah.
your approach to the martini? Does that count as?
Okay.
Does
Look
that
how
count?
excited he gets. I love Eric Castro.
Is the
We got the
martini? Is
Indiana
the
Jones
martini
alcohol
in that
here.
top 15? Do you have to know how
Yeah,
to
you
make
gotta
a good
know
martini?
martini. And the martini is like, I love the martini, but like it's so tough because so many bad martinis are made every day. So essentially, it's
That's
like
what we're here to stop.
Yeah.
You can save the martinis. This martini was outside in the snow.
For $12
cold.
a drink, you can get a martini that isn't garbage.
$12. Where the fuck are you going to?
Man,
it's like $20 now.
You know,
Sorry,
yeah,
continue.
that's one thing I kind of like when you see some of these bars that are like they're kicking up the price of cocktails so high, like, oh, we make the best cocktails in like $20. You're like, for fucking $20, it better be the damn best cocktail I've ever
Don't they
had.
have to do that though? Because that's something I think
Yeah.
about. Where as the quality of the drinks rises, the time it takes to make the drinks rises. You can
Yeah.
only have physically so many bartenders behind the bar.
Yeah.
And it reaches a point where it's annoying as fuck to have to wait in line to get you
Yeah,
this drink.
that is my one critique with
Where-
the craft cocktails.
Is the price the thing that's supposed to like weed people out at that point?
I think so. I think there is something to that. You get a certain point where it's like you start to get people who are like starting fights and stuff, and you're like, that's when it's time to bump the cocktails up a buck or two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's something. I mean, for me, it's not a knock against any of the places because to each his own. I'm not a craft cocktail guy. I'm not a huge drinker either. But when I do go to some of these fine establishments, and I won't call anyone out in the city, but you guys know what I'm talking about. And there is a line, and there's a guy that's like lighting something on fire, like a bar
He's
where the
going so
bartender is like
slow.
lighting something on fire, and like the zest and like the smoke in the air, and it was. Like people applaud, right? I'm just like, oh, I just want a bourbon on the rocks. Like that's
But I
all
feel like
really want.
that's
Maybe there should be
always
two different lines.
That's the division, right? Where I feel like there's so many bars you can go to and get a beer, get a shot, get whatever, get bourbon neat, and you're fine. But when we go to these craft cocktail places, you're in it, and part of it is the show, right? Like bourbon
the experience, yeah.
Bourbon and Branch is the what's the password? Come on in, go through this like bookcase, and you're like, this is fucking rad. And even Rick House, like. You walk in there and it is like the vests and the ties and it's this throwback. Hard Water's on the water, you know what I mean? Like if you get
Hard
that
Water's
bar,
bourbon selection is I think maybe the
a
best
wall.
I've seen on the West
Isn't that
Coast.
the whole
Yeah.
wall?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you see these places that are like, oh, we have more bourbons than anyone. You go and they're like, yeah, but most of them suck.
Yeah.
Right. But then you go to a place like Hard Water and it's like every single bottle. I'm like, fuck, where the hell did they find that?
Yeah.
Damn, that's like Eagle Rare from like, a bottle from like 1982. Where are these guys finding
And they're
this
doing
stuff?
like the Pappy flights, and they're doing all
Yeah.
this stuff that's like a real deal thing. And that's the just that juxtaposition of I've been exactly where you are, and I mean like I think of Rick House or something,
Yeah.
where somebody's going away party and we're there and we're trying to get drunk,
trying
and
to
it's
get
like,
trashed.
but you go up there and it is, and it's like, well, this is kind of the thing. This isn't the right fit for what we're trying to do to it. I feel personally.
Yeah, I mean, and that's 100% right. Like I am typical Nick Scarpino, bringing my expectations of what I want everything to be into this new environment and going like, God damn you for not bending to my will,
Yeah.
sir.
It's like when we go to
but I do
Polite and we
think-
bring
I do think
70 people to Polite Provisions, and your guys keep up and do great, and it's like, all right.
Well, I mean that's a perfect example, right? We've done meet and greets there, and there's not like you guys are fast. Like
Yeah.
you stock them with the correct amount of people. And I've never, it's not like other establishments. And again, I'm not going to call anyone out.
No, yeah, it
but
is.
wouldn't it be
Yeah.
way cooler if you got the craft cocktail? You still got that touch, but you got it when you wanted it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't have to wait 30 minutes
Well, that's
to get
always-
a cocktail.
Polite's thing where they have the little bottles ready to go, which I
would even
love.
say like, oh yeah, I dig that. I would even say like part of what Rick House, because me, a buddy of mine, we did the bar program there when it opened. Part of that was me taking that part of the success of that bar was me taking all the like the efficiency and like levels of systems that I learned from working at chain restaurants. And then incorporating that with all the craft cocktails and stuff that I had fallen in love with.
That's an important thing.
So I took those two. I
Yeah.
took systems and quality, and I combined them, or we combined them there. And I feel like that's why the bar did so well, and won all kinds of
I
awards.
guarantee it is.
Yeah.
I mean, that's another critique I have of restaurants in general in San Francisco is that when I used to be in the service industry, we had steps of service. We had,
Where'd you wait tables at?
I waited tables at 3 different restaurants. I don't know if any of them are there anymore. I rated 4 actually. There was a place called Bertolini's, which there's a Bertolini's in Vegas.
See, that's how
still,
you can tell we're
think.
starting to get old because he's like, oh, they all went out of business.
Oh no! Well, I mean, this literally one of them went out of business as I was working there. They called us all and they were like, "Hey, everyone, it's been a great ride. You're all laid off." I was like, "Whoa!" That was my first time ever getting laid off. First and last time, actually. The rest of the time, I got fired.
Don't count yourself out just yet.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. No, I waited at a place called Bertolini's. I waited at a place called Koji's, which was a shabu shabu restaurant, and then there was another one that was called the Market Broiler, which was like a run-of-the-mill fish place. But like all of these places,
And you're
like,
missing one.
oh, that's right, Ralph Brennan's Jazz Kitchen.
Hell yeah.
I was there for a while too, which was downtown Disney, which actually got me free entrance into Disneyland whenever I wanted, so we'd get really drunk and go.
And which is the one you punched the point of sale system?
That would be the Market Broiler restaurant.
Dude,
yeah.
those things are like $3,000 each.
well,
Well, that's why he did it. Looked at his manager and walked out because he knew it was over.
what happened was well, it doesn't matter. We're not going to recant that tale, but no, what I learned in those restaurants, especially like my first restaurant that I ever waited tables at was Bertolini's, and that was the people that ran that restaurant. They were out of Vegas, so a lot of them came. There's Bertolini's and Caesars. I don't know if it's still there or not, but it used to be in the Caesars Forum shops. And so one of the guys that was a manager there came out to general manage the Bertolini's and the Irvine Spectrum. Now I think it's a Javier's Mexican restaurant. But back then they were huge on steps of service. They were like, dude, you are here. These people are giving you their time and their money, and you are here to create an experience for them.
Yeah.
You have to get to their table within 30 seconds. You have to take their order. You have to be attentive. You have to make sure that they're not wanting for anything. You have to be the perfect blend of like there for them, but not annoying, right? And I loved that, and so I got used to that, and I got used to providing that experience
guys,
for people.
man.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You guys are here
That's
for
the
everybody
secret,
out there.
man.
all the
Exactly, but we
viewers.
are annoying.
Just try not to be annoying.
But so when I come to restaurants in San Francisco that are these amazing artisanal experiences, right? And I get service that I feel like is super under par because they're not training their wait staff to actually like give a shit. And then I get a bill for $300. I'm like, this is not what I know this could be, right? I don't if I'm waiting like 3 months to get a reservation for a place and it's the new cool shit, I better walk out feeling pretty special. And if I don't, like, that's the one thing I can't stand is when I feel like I'm putting them out by being a patron of their establishment.
Yeah, that's the
And I
worst.
fucking hate that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
When a
Yeah,
waiter
right
looks at you
too.
like, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Am I putting you out? I'm sorry. Like, I'm just giving you a $50 tip today. Maybe I won't, but I always do because I can't fucking break the rules. I have to make everyone happy.
No, man, I think you're 100% right. I think there's a lot of these places that are, selling like a fancy product, but they're not invested enough into their actual like training systems.
Yeah, there's no
and
infrastructure.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate because, then you go to a place like, I think I went to a place called Progress. The Progress. Have you ever been to that restaurant? In
Yeah,
San
I liked
Francisco?
it. Yeah, good spot.
Fucking great.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
Expensive, but the service was insanely good.
Yeah.
And it made our night great because it's one of those nights that
Same
just,
owners as Statebird Provision.
I thought so.
Yeah,
I thought
this
so.
is fucking
Statebird.
fantastic. Yeah.
State Bird's great too. So those are places where I'm like, you guys, this is a unique experience that I'm willing to pay for, right? Not every day, but
like
once every
Rainforest
6 months.
Cafe.
Shut the
Exactly
fuck
like
up.
Rainforest
Unique
Cafe.
experience.
It is very
God,
unique.
I
Except
hate
you
you.
get, you can get that at any. Are they
It's gone. Well, the one on Pier 39's gone. Out of nowhere.
That's a big.
Thin
That's
air.
a big.
Just like the real
building.
rainforest.
Yeah. Oh,
You know, they
man.
just rolled
Too
in. They
real.
got him. Yeah,
Too
yeah.
We
real.
had like 7 p.m. reservation that showed up and it was already shut
Fuck.
down.
Yeah, I walk in. They're
You
just
just
like,
you hear like the last little dying like
the girl like walks
Almost
around
as sad as when me, Cool Greg, Joey, and Jen tried to go to Buca de Beppo after a movie.
Oh, is that gone?
Yeah. We walked over, the doors were locked. We're like, fuck. All right, let's
Stuffed
try to find a
shells,
place that
bro.
can seat 8. God damn it.
Stuffed
Francisco,
shells were
man.
so
Hey,
good.
this is what we wanted. This is what San Francisco wants. Death through the chains, birthplace of originality.
What's that Taylor
Birthplace Ra-
Swift song where she's like, "This is what you wanted"? Off of
Oh,
1989.
look what you made. Oh no,
I forget. But either way, but
Oh, you wanted this or whatever
this
when
is
she's
what you
talking.
wanted.
Yeah.
You got exactly what you
Yeah,
wanted.
yeah, exactly.
No, get in your bed and lie down.
but the problem, I mean,
She's like,
not to
I
riff
had
off that,
That'd be
but
way
like
hot, though.
the sad reality of
down.
the sad reality of San Francisco right now is no one can afford to have a business in the city. The chains, the Nike women's store just went out of business in my neighborhood. They were like, no, we can't. This is just absurd. It's not cost effective anymore for anyone to run a fucking
I
business
honestly
in
wouldn't
SF.
doubt if these restaurants these chains were closed down were still very profitable, but they weren't profitable enough, so they were like weighing down their like average store profits.
Oh yeah,
Like they were just
100%.
like, okay, this is making us look bad, so let's just close it down.
100%. The only, I mean, there's like.
Thanks for watching, everybody. Click here to watch another episode of the Game Over Greggy Show. Click here to subscribe. Click here to go over and support us on Patreon. Remember, every buck helps. Click down here for whatever Cool Greg wants to send you today. I hope it's rap music.